guys.
Good morning. It's Kerry coming at you live from here in Breckenridge, Colorado, and we are doing our training sessions today, and we're super excited to be here with you. So today is on how to share your story, your personal story, being presented by super rad Nick Martinez and Keisha, right? Yeah. Miss Keisha Leilani is going to be posting in Baby Sky. Baby Sky is the best at sharing her story. Really simple, generally like 4 or 5 sounds. And that's pretty much what we need to learn how to do too. So getting full out, hit your chats, invite your people that need to be here, and we're going to get going right now. So here we go.
What's happening? All right.
Or are we doing the emails? Oh, okay.
So copy that and text it to any of your team members that you know should be here. What's up, guys? We're going to get started here. How are you? Good to see y'all. One more message. Boom. There we go. All right. How's everybody doing this morning? Why'd y'all come up here? Aside from the fact that you wanted to hang out with myself and Keisha and the cute baby.
You said I was going to be the best one.
That's up.
Yeah, you sold it as we had to be here, so we have to be
I
here.
need to figure out how to even post this on my page.
I also thought it would be smart to go to this first, because if we're gonna be learning about stories and stuff like that, we might want to utilize some of the information that we gathered here.
Okay. I like that. Why else are you guys here?
I might cry. Don't look at me like that. So, did you trick you last night?
I'm here to learn how to share my story better.
Sky! Oh, my little girls like those.
He's right there with my story, with my and I don't think I should have come about my story.
Good. Thank you. Glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm with you.
Cool. So what I love about sharing our stories is if we become intentional about it, if we learn kind of the mechanics of it, people will hear it in a different light, right? The challenge is usually we experience so much from ketones. They've done so many different things for us. Our lives have changed, and we want to share it all at once. And how does that usually come across to the person that you're sharing it with? Did you experience any of that at the beginning?
Oh, yeah.
Did you maybe overshared a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Does anybody else notice when somebody shares their story how they start to go into all of these details? And you're probably like, I don't really care. I don't really care. I don't really care. But then they get to something, they're like, oh, wow, I can resonate with that. So part of our sharing of your story is how to and be able to share the stuff that actually is going to resonate with somebody. So as somebody is listening to your story, they're listening to hear if they see a piece of themselves in you. Like they're listening to, most of us listen, and as we hear what's going on, we're relating it to our life. Right? So if you're speaking and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I'm tired at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, or oh my gosh, I've struggled with cravings and sugar. Oh my, like whatever those pieces are, you're identifying a part of them in you. And as they see that, they're like, oh, I can so relate to that. So we had a guest call last week, and Stephanie Pennington was a guest on it, and a speaker on it. She was sharing her story. I signed up a new promoter the next day, and the person that was enrolling said, you know, I'm here because the lady on that Zoom, like that was my story. And so her aspect, what she shared in a very concise way, really hit people that were on that Zoom. So what we're going to talk through here is just how to articulate that, and we're going to give you a format that you can utilize wherever you're at. So what are your thoughts just on sharing stories, how this has impacted your business?
Oh gosh, when I first got started, like you were saying, you just want to like get it all out because you're excited, right? Jody did that to me. And I was like, oh gosh, she's trying to sell me. Like it just didn't feel, she was just excited, and it really changed her life. And so when we started utilizing this format, I was like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant, because it also, I wasn't all over the place. So sometimes when you meet somebody, you wanna, you know, kind of relate with them and share your story in a way where it relates to them, but at the same time, in my head, I'm like, gosh, what part of my story do I share? Like, there's so much of it. Do I share my past pain, tribulations? Do I share how I got into business? Do I share the product? And so to create my story in this format, and it's changed so much. Time someone's asked me like, well, what's it done for you? I have the same format over and over again. So it's been really helpful. And it's been able to duplicate in the team too, which makes them feel confident. Like you said, you have so much of your story, and it's like, where do you start? And so just doing that has been night and day.
So to avoid that for me, my stories are very surface. It's
Okay.
just,
You know, you just share all of it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing,
100%.
right? It's, if I'm talking to a stranger and I'm telling them about ketones, I'm probably not gonna go into something that's gonna like make me cry,
right.
Yeah.
right? But if I'm in a smaller group setting, I might share more. So one of the interesting things is when you see me on a Zoom or us do a training, a lot of times we share more detail because as a trainer or speaker, you're trying to make sure that people can relate to you and you're trying to give them a glimpse of you so we become friends. And then you trust me and you listen. Now there's a difference between that on like being the actual presenter and just share the story. So a lot of times what people will do is emulate what whoever got started did, right? The trainer or the speaker, they talked about how they were introduced. They talked about their friend calling them. They talked about their doing their 5 or their 10 day. And next thing you know, it takes the individual 5 minutes to get out what ketones have done for them when they could have said it in 30 seconds. So let's see, anybody brand new? You're pretty new, so come up here. So I like using real life examples rather than just doing all the talking. So Laura, real quick, tell me what ketones have done for you. Like, why do you love ketones? Yeah, sit right here. There you go.
Well, I love ketones because they like, I feel great in general, and I help people feel great all the time, but after taking ketones, my body, my brain, it's mainly my brain. I feel like so much more brain energy and focus and clarity. And I'm one of those people that talks so fast and moves really quick and runs people over with all my words. And I have so much energy, but it's not organized energy. It's not focused energy. And it's not productive energy a lot of the time. So what I feel like ketones have done is just help me take the power that I am and have and be able to put it in a place in my body where I can help more people and be actually more productive internally, so I can help more people like I do with my acupuncture, but I don't have to actually be in a session with somebody.
So let me ask you, prior to drinking ketones, describe to me what the lack of focus was like. Where did that show up?
I would just, I get so distracted. And so for me, like, so I just have a lot of different things coming at me. The energy focus is just, it's different because like one, I wake up and I have ketones and I love it and it makes me feel so good and I feel good in general, but it's a different kind of good. Like I'm a sugar addict and I love to drink beer and I love to smoke pot and it helps me. Part of this
So you're talking to somebody. So what we do is harness pieces of your story
Okay.
and then be able to articulate it. Go ahead.
Before ketones, I was. Since drinking ketones,
And what I'm most excited
what I'm
about.
most excited about.
Okay, so before ketones, I was.
And since drinking ketones, I feel I am, and then the third part of it is what I'm most excited about.
Now this format is always gonna remain the same, but you get to change what you're talking about. and you get to mold it to fit the situation and the time frame.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest things with sharing your story is if I invite you to share on the guest call, probably looking for 30 to 60 seconds, not 5 minutes. So what you might have to do is pick a couple of the benefits, not tell your entire thing. And a lot of times you're like, well, they got to hear about this, they got to hear about this. But the reality is they just need to latch on to one thing that you said. Now, the questions that I asked were, how did that show up in your day? Like, how does that feel? What does that look like? Because if I say to you, oh my gosh, ketones gave me energy,
Right.
like
Very
people
sad.
might hear that and they might get excited about it, but the word energy is used everywhere.
Yeah.
What are they going to relate to? They're going to relate to your story, like what actually happened. So how does that change in your day? So I heard you say, prior to drinking ketones, I was scattered and all over the place. I have amazing energy, but I didn't know how to harness it. Like I didn't know how to focus it. It was just, and you can even go, like, since drinking ketones, oh my goodness, I still have the same amazing energy. In fact, it's a little bit more. However, it's weird. It's focused. I'm able to take that energy and put it on something and get it done. In fact, today, or in fact, last week, and then you tell a story. I was just at my office. Normally, I would have been all over the place, but I got all of this paperwork done. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So if you pick a specific thing in your day that happened and you share about that, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that makes sense. I've got that. Any questions on that?
No, that's perfect.
You want to try again?
Before ketones, I have a ton of energy and I was always really scattered and distracted. And one of the main things I noticed after drinking ketones is that I still have all this energy and I actually have more energy, but it's focused, it's guided, it's productive, and it feels a lot safer and better for me because I can just, it feels great. So
Awesome. So now that was good. To make it better, what you can do is actually talk about it's like a specific time or a specific thing. So you might have to think about this for a little bit, but how did that lack of focus show up in your business or in your life or in your family? And then since drinking ketones, how is it a little bit different? My simple story that you've probably heard 18 times is I used to come home from flying airplanes and I'd watch my 2-year-old from my napping position on the floor. Right? Then I started drinking ketones. Nothing really changed except for this. I didn't get any more sleep, but instead of watching her from my napping position on the floor, I was chasing her around the house. And at the same time, my wife's like, what's gotten into you? What's wrong with you? Right? Just by sharing that, I tell that story every single time. So all of us have tons of different stories that you can use. And it's just kind of figuring those out. And the more that we start to speak in story, rather than just in words, people resonate. They lock into that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Another example. So exhausted with little to no energy. I could barely get out of bed in the morning. Since drinking ketones, I feel like a rock star new mom with a ton of energy, and I feel like my brain got turned on again. In fact, today I woke up feeling unmotivated, but then I popped one of these bad boys in my mouth, and man, was I ready to conquer my day. What I'm most excited about is helping other mamas rock momhood as well and live life up, feeling their best. So tweak it to your story, right? How you feel off ketones. And
So-
then as it goes, like he was saying, if it's weight loss, like I've lost 48 pounds. So if someone's coming to me or I'm going to connect with Jenna or Amber and they need 60 pounds to lose, well, I just recently lost 48 pounds. So I can tweak my story based off the weight loss. So it's more relatable to her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So what we want to do is just take a few minutes, and if you're on Zoom or if you're here with us, I want you just to start writing out a few pieces of your story. So the before part, write how you felt, whether it was an experience like you just felt. I was tired all the time. Think about all the opposite of all the benefits that you've received. What is the opposite?
If you wanted to talk about feeling depressed, but you don't want to sound medically, what do you write?
So we don't use words like depression, like
Yeah.
anxiety, inflammation. We use words like, I just didn't want to get out of bed.
Okay,
I just wasn't very happy all the time.
wasn't very happy.
I was in a state where I just didn't want to do anything.
Did you say I felt sad?
I felt sad. Sure.
Yeah, we want to avoid.
Nervous,
any
so
If you have anxiety, it's, man, I was worried all the time. I just like, when your kid's gonna do something and you just sit there and replay it in your head over and over again. That feeling, unsettled. You can describe those so that normal people can hear them. The moment that we put a medical condition on them, you lose 90% of the room. You might be speaking to 10, but I want to speak to the 100%. 100% of people can say, I've been not motivated to get out of bed. They may not want to associate with the word depression, but they associate with just being sluggish, being tired, not like having the joy to go do things. So when we talk about any of those, there's crazy cool stories like Mitzi's dad last night.
Yeah.
She can tell his story in bits and pieces without going into wound healing, without going into a lot of things. Just by sharing how it changed his mood, how it changed his drive for life, how it changed his ability to get up and walk again. Like those are the pieces that you're looking for. So take some time. We're gonna just write down all of the benefits that you've received, and then write down next to those or underneath them, now that I've had ketones, how that shows up. So if you have energy, what does that energy look like? If you sleep better, describe your sleep beforehand, and what does that sleep look like now? I always get, I sleep so much better now that I have ketones. I'm like, awesome, describe that to me. Because you struggling with sleep in the past is probably similar to a lot of people. Did you wake up 8 times? Did you have trouble falling asleep? Did you not, couldn't stay asleep? Like, what was it? And then now, describe it. You wake up rested. Any other thoughts from the benefit standpoint?
Yeah, I think just piggybacking off that, being descriptive, like when someone's reading it, have them feel what you went through, because more than likely they're going through that. So. Oh, you did?
He was leaving his Zoom. She's chilling. She's uninterested.
I'm waving at you guys and the baby on the floor.
Oh my
Did they see the baby on the floor?
I don't think so. We didn't throw her there. There's the baby. Youngest promoter. Right there. Ketone baby.
She is a ketone baby.
And then when you're done, just let whoever's done first, let us know.
Oh. Yeah, good. Let's take like 3 or 4 minutes.
If I may, it's like almost like writing the story is kind of like writing our innate statement, like an adjective, a noun. Where like for me, it's I would wake up not feel motivated, but then like now that I have this newfound energy, like I don't mind picking up my dog poop. Right? Like I'm a dog. I have dogs. Like I don't mind going out there and picking up dog poop.
Right.
I don't know. In the mood, that's just part of it.
Yeah, which
60 seconds or less.
Okay. Before taking ketones, I couldn't walk. I had no motivation. I had a 2-hour plus nap every single day. And then since ketones, I do not take naps. I can walk without a cane, and I feel peaceful and calm. I have extra energy that I can expel to other people. And what I'm most excited about me, I want to be able to share and help others to feel better.
Before ketones, I was out of shape, didn't want to get off the couch to even use the restroom. I would have someone get me water, food out of the kitchen. I just was, too big to push myself up it was just too much energy. Since drinking ketones, I do everything myself. I feel great. I'm sleeping awesome, and I walk 4 miles a day, and I've lost 199 pounds. Most I like about ketones is all the above. Most
Use it as a tool. And the tool is to create that little bit of like, huh? Did he just say 199 pounds? I mean, when he started talking to me in May, he was down 130. So we're 70 pounds more than in May. That's really cool. So if you can drop it as a hint, you can drop it at like, and as a result of just feeling amazing, a result of being healthier, a result of having all this energy and moving my body, I have lost XYZ.
So do you put that in the scents, or would you put it in the
You can put it wherever it feels great. There's no right or wrong for this one. It's really just if you're talking to somebody you know has weight loss, like they want that. You say prior to ketones, like I was challenged. I've been on this yo-yo diet my whole life. I'm up 5 pounds, down 10, up 20, down 5, to the point where I was just stuck. Finally, I found something that literally took my cravings away. Prior to drinking this, I used to crave sugar all the time. I would eat everything that was sweet in sight. Started drinking this and literally like it shifted. I no longer had those same cravings. It felt amazing as a result of that. I moved and I'm actually able to control what I eat. I've actually dropped 50 pounds. People heard all of those things, and then the fat loss happened to be a result of you being healthy. You guys kind of follow that? All right, who else wants to share theirs?
I will.
Awesome, go for it. Here, stand up because they can't see you on
Watch your
Zoom.
head.
Watch your
Yes,
head
I
here.
don't want to smack my head. Okay, so before drinking ketones, I was sad, unmotivated, and pushing my kids away. And it was sleeping maybe 4 hours a night and would wake up just miserable. Since drinking ketones, I am happy. I feel alive for the first time in 20 years. And I'm enjoying every moment that I have with my kids. And I sleep 8 hours a night. I am most excited to share the light that I have in my life with the whole world. And I am super excited to be just alive every single day.
Awesome. Thank
Tell
you.
them what you said about your waist and your heart.
I help people shrink their hips and grow their hearts.
There you go.
So that's my new photo.
I love it.
That
Should
came
be on your
out
business
white
card.
early morning.
No.
It was like 1:30 last night, yeah.
So if you're on like a guest Zoom or something, I would ask you to share the fact that you've lost 50 something pounds. Even because looking at you, she's always been skinny her whole life.
Yeah.
You just have that look, right? You don't look like somebody that lost 50 something pounds.
Well, and the backstory to that, right, is that I had cancer and I had a hysterectomy and I went through menopause at 37 years old. And that switches your hormones, control so much in your body. And I gained so much weight in my midsection that I looked like I was 4 or 5 months pregnant. And it was crazy, and it came out of nowhere, and my motivation went down as the weight went up, and my sadness, it all was affected because of that. So the fact that I get up every morning and I go for a walk, and then I go to work, and then I come home, and then I take care of my kids, and then I make them go for a walk with me. I've never exercised before in my life. I have the motivation to do that now. I want to be healthy. I want my family healthy. I want my kids healthy. And I want them to have a future. And I didn't feel any of that.
Which story do you guys think was more powerful?
That
one.
So there you go.
So
But
there's
it's hard with that,
so
like, how do you
many.
do that with the whole menopause and medical
well,
family?
you just described how you were before. That has nothing to do with ketones. Ketones didn't get you out of menopause. Ketones didn't give you
Oh,
a
I'm still in
hysterectomy.
menopause, right?
But
My uterus is
When-
still gone.
Still got no more babies.
when you explained how you were before,
Yeah,
that's your story,
yeah.
right? That's being authentic. The first one was just more words. I actually felt your heart and your passion. The purpose of this exercise isn't to take you out of the story. It's just to help you harness it.
So I worry about sharing that menopause stuff because honestly, when I tell other women that this is what I've gone through, this is what happened to me, and I talk about the menopause, they're like, whatever. Because it's one of those things that people don't talk about. They don't talk about that, hey, there are ways for you to feel better. There are ways for you to lose that menopausal belly. It is a thing. There are ways. And I was told by my doctor that I just had to deal with it. That there was no help, that I was just gonna have to go through life the way I was feeling. And that was
Wait, what happened when you went back to your doctor?
I went back to my doctor. I was telling Hillary this yesterday, 53 pounds lighter. And I said, you know what? You were wrong. And this is what did it to me. And I shoved them a pack of ketones and I walked out. I'm finding a new doctor.
Good. So, I mean,
She
you're,
could use, instead of using menopause, like she can still use your story of like the things you went through menopause, like the feeling that, you know what I mean? So you don't
Yeah.
actually have to bring up menopause.
So, and then the other thing that I struggle with, and I'm sorry guys if I'm taking up too much time, I am a small framed person. So when I say I lost 53 pounds, they look at me like, yeah, right. You know what I mean?
Did I tell you that?
Yes, I have pictures to show it. It's amazing, but they do, and I think it's because I was never the big. I was never the
No?
big girl. I mean,
You've
these
always
guys.
looked like this, yeah.
Yeah, I've always looked like this, and so.
Actually, I think you're skinnier than in high school.
You guys went to high school together?
Yeah, we went to high school
And
together.
Oh my
this is 20 years we haven't seen her.
did you see her, you've seen her fat pictures?
Yeah.
Oh, I send them pictures all the time.
Reminder.
So you have a lot of stuff going on up here that you're projecting on everybody else. I heard you say, oh, when I say menopause, everybody,
Yeah,
like, they don't, yeah, right.
so good.
Everybody, like, not everybody, but a lot of people in this room can relate to menopause. So when you say that, they're thinking, oh, okay, interesting.
Even if it hasn't happened.
When you
yet,
say, I gained a bunch of
Oh,
weight,
yeah.
people think, oh, I gained a bunch of weight.
Yeah.
Like, they relate to that.
I
So
didn't know it was gonna happen.
your story is just, prior to finding this product, I was in this place where I was 37 years old. I went through menopause early. I had a hysterectomy. Like, it was just challenging. Share that. Then, nothing was working. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Honestly, something shifted though. I got introduced to this. I started drinking it. Next thing you know, I have this energy. I'm walking. I'm telling my kids to walk with me, and blah blah blah. What you just shared, and then you can say, and as a result, I've actually lost 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Everybody will be like, no way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They can say no way.
Yeah.
It's not like they don't
I'm like, I
actually
got
believe
proof.
you. You're thinking that they don't believe you has something to do with you, not them.
Yeah, that's huge.
Because I think I still can't believe that I feel all this. You know what I mean? Like, I can't believe that I am here today. I can't believe that I'm part of this company. I can't believe that I'm just here and I love life. Like, I can't, it's like a dream
Yeah.
that I didn't know that I wanted, that I have now. Be happy to
So-
do this.
So, sorry.
That's it.
Are you sure we're on the next
That's the
call?
story. That's the story.
There
Like,
you go.
that's what you want to share. Because if you're speaking from here instead of here, we always say speak from your heart. Most people speak from their head. You
Yeah.
speak because you're like, oh, I need to say the right thing to this person.
Yeah.
But if you share from here, then they can feel that and they know the difference.
Yeah.
So
My heart is huge now.
awesome job.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Who else wants to share the story?
I'm having a hard time with my story because my story started like a year ago and I just found ketones a few weeks ago. So I've been having a hard time figuring out
How to share that.
How
Well,
to
in
share
the
that.
That makes sense.
Few weeks, what have you noticed?
Yeah.
So Greg's story, we've kind of discussed sharing this, but he lost 130 pounds on just the ketogenic diet. And then he found ketones and now it's been a lot of a shift. So what I would share is how did it start a year ago? Tell me that.
Well, I was Oh, I don't want to share, I'm too emotional. So.
Okay, what have you noticed since drinking ketones?
I'm too emotional.
Okay. Well, those are the pieces that you just have to work on. Hey, my story actually started before I found ketones. I was in this place, I went through this, and this is what started the shift. However, I found this, just mention how you found it from Scott or whoever, and I was super skeptical. I started drinking it, and what's amazing is, yes, I've had this since then, but now, man, my energy is different, or I just have this focus that's amazing. I was scattered before. You just described those benefits. So it like a lot, you hear something like this and you think it's got to be that. I don't have that story. But I enroll a massive number of customers and promoters. So I use my story, and then we also have everybody else's unique story.
So when I find it, I have a pretty amazing story, but what I don't want people to think is, well, that's not just because of ketones. I mean, you have like all the people have watched my journey publicly, and they have a following of people that have seen my journey from a year till now, and I don't want people to think, well, that's not all because of ketones.
Because your story is so new.
But I think that story will help, like you said, because you'll share the beginning part of I've been in this journey, this weight loss journey since a year and a half or whatever. And since, like sprinkling in both together, I think will help you feel more confident to share it that it wasn't just ketones, but 3 weeks ago you started using ketones and it's shifted the energy or made the energy different than, whatever. I always talk about the things that are in the box: energy, focus, mood. If you've lost some weight, you're down how much since ketone? You were plateauing.
Yeah.
So you could talk about I plateaued, hit this goal from your weight loss, hit this goal, and then I found this by following Scott D. Henry, and since drinking it, I now have broke that plateau and lost another blah blah blah.
Which is great. I mean, that's all I've been doing. I'm just having a hard time putting it into these before putting those words into this formula is not really working.
So, but prior to ketones, I was on a weight loss journey. I'd lost a bunch of weight and I was stuck, or I had hit kind of a plateau. That's this guy here.
Yeah. Okay.
Prior to drinking ketones, if he went through his whole story, I got to a point, needed to lose some weight, found keto, did the ketogenic diet, lost 130 pounds. But then in January, I got stuck.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was doing wrong, didn't know what was not shifting, why I wasn't going any further, but found this stuff in May, started to drink it, started to do the reboot. Next thing you know, my plateau is gone.
Okay.
But here's what's cool is my energy also went up. My foot, like what other benefits that you've received, you share about those as the after.
But my actual story is so much more powerful. I'd rather share my story of like how I was feeling a year ago. So I'm like born.
So you don't have to, this is designed so that when you're sharing about ketones, you're able to create as much impact with ketones, and that helps people move to action.
Okay.
The reality is everybody out there, not everybody out there will go and do a diet, will go and make a shift. I can get 99 out of 100 people to at least drink this. If they drink this, they're going to make a shift.
Yeah.
They're going to choose their own adventure as far as diet.
Okay.
So this speaks to a broader audience than just whatever this is. It's not to take away from what you have here, it's to expand upon it. And it becomes a piece of it. So when I on social media, I don't talk about ketones all the time, but when I do, I laser focus on what they are and why they're good.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody that has lost any substantial weight from this product has only done it with ketones. Maybe, but I'm sure Greg, I know Jessica has added exercise. I've added intermittent fasting, working out, which I didn't do, but the ketones allow me to do those things. They support me in that.
It's the direction of that journey.
But I think, inserting your story, don't discard that of what you want to share, what that weight loss journey was, and then talk about that plateau because you shared that with me, and then you saw your friend Scott post on TikTok, and you're like, yeah, right, this sounds too good to be true. Whatever your feeling was when you were watching him, let me try it for myself, and then you tried it, and now all of a sudden you're experiencing those benefits. You broke your plateau, whatever. Do you have benefits so far? Weight loss from ketones?
Yeah, and even more than that is the energy that is really helping, and then
because your percentage of people about your weight loss journey prior, like he said, is a very small percentage compared to what the ketones. It's a broader audience. It's not everyone can you know, relate to your story, right? Like I can't, like, so you're speaking to a lot of different people, but you do want to, that is important you share that because you also have people that follow you to see that. But then when you put ketones in the mix, it opens it up more for more people. So you'll get more people other than just that small percentage that also want to drink the product because of the energy or because they were plateauing. They didn't go through what you went through with your weight loss journey, but they saw energy. Like, oh my gosh, I want to try this because she talked about energy.
So part of this is to realize that you don't just have, you can share your story in a 5-minute format and you've told everything, or you have 8 different stories that you can tell. So whether it's on a TikTok video, on a Facebook Live, or just a Facebook post or Instagram, you can tell each of those as something. So I might talk about the energy that I received. I might talk about the muscle gain that I've had over the last few years. I might talk about each of these things, and those don't have to all be at once. So the energy piece, that's going to reach a massive audience.
Yep.
If you just focus for one video or one thing on how this has shifted your energy, the story format is simple. Prior to finding these ketones, I was, and you describe your energy. And then since drinking them, now my energy has, and it's the shift that's been made. And that's just one piece. It's not defining you.
Yeah.
It's just a piece of how this has impacted your feeling.
I would say just the easiest way to think about it is this is a story, not the story.
Yeah.
There you go.
You
So
have
you
a
can switch it,
story
change
about
it based on who you're talking to.
like I don't always talk about the fact that I was 355 pounds at 17 years old. I don't talk about how a doctor told me that I was going to die by the time I was 18 if I didn't make changes. Those are part of my bigger story. Even people I've known for years just now found out about it. Right? Becca too. None of y'all know that she used to be over 200 pounds. Right? Those are pieces of the story those are a piece of the story that build up the story. So as you share those pieces, and it's not okay, let me get as much in 60 seconds as possible. It's like, no, if I'm in a room full of moms, I'm gonna talk about how my mom joined with me and everything that we did it together. And now she's the smallest she's ever been and since I was born. And that's part of the story as well, but it's a piece. And so I love how Keisha talked about analyzing the audience. That's what we call it in comm studies. Talking to who you are. If I'm in a room full of college students, they don't care that I was fat when I was in high school. They care that I could sit down and talk.
Yeah.
So to kind of bring this home, because we just have a couple minutes, the purpose of this format is just to help you articulate it. The pieces that we're leaving out here is the whole backstory to finding it. You can share a little bit of that. I was introduced to this by a friend and I was super skeptical. But the moment you go down to the phone call that you had, and then you got the 5-day, and you tried the first flavor, and you're like, I didn't really know if I liked it or not, but then you start, that stuff just becomes noise. It doesn't, like the person that you're talking to is kind of glazing over.
Yeah.
So the other piece of this is we're gonna be doing this guest call tonight. And if you share your story on a guest call, you want as many people to be able to relate to you as possible. So the most important thing is saying that who you are and where you live. People always love hearing that. They can relate. And then also your background. Because if you're brand new, they don't know who you are. So, hey, my name is Nick Martinez. I live out in Minnesota. My background is actually flying airplanes. I used to be a full-time airline pilot. And when I was introduced to this, I was tired. So I go into that. So if your background is a mom, if your background is a teacher, a nurse, if you can give people a sentence or two of just who you are, now then they have a context for hearing your story. So if like when you're sharing this with people that you already know, also you don't have to go into that. But if you're sharing it in front of a room, you just want to say, like, you want them to be leaning in and say, oh, I'm getting to know you. So just add that piece. And what parts of you can other people see or relate to? Your mom, your whatever your job is. If I say pilot, next thing you know, all the people that are flight attendants or pilots or in the travel industry or shift workers, they start to relate. If you say nurse, all of the just
Or they think of people.
Yeah.
They're like,
Oh, yeah.
this would be great for my friend who's a nurse.
Any questions on that?
So we don't really have time to do it right now, I don't think, but the same format works for your business story, right?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. So part of this we didn't get to, but is how do you share what Prove It has done for you? And a lot of people say, well, I haven't made a ton of money yet, Nick. I'm like, well, have you gotten free ketones?
Yeah.
Yes. Have you made $100? Have you made $1,000? Have you made $5? Well, if you've made something, you have a business. If you're getting free ketones, you have a business. So prior to this, you can just be authentic. Prior to ketones, I was not looking for a keto business. I was not looking for another business. I needed another business like a hole in the head. I was a full-time pilot. My wife worked full-time. We had a drone business and a food and beverage sampling business and another business. However, when I started to drink this and realized, okay, this could be powerful, I got excited about the potential of what this could become. So I described before, as I started to share ketones, like I realized this was going to be powerful, shared it with as many pilots as possible and flight attendants. And before I knew it, stories were coming back and people were loving this. You know, now it's been a life-changing thing for us. You get to just share where you're at in that. And then the cool part about this format is what I'm most excited about is helping moms like me, is helping nurses like me, is helping whatever achieve the same thing through this business. I'm excited about quitting my job. I'm excited, like you get to create the vision for what you're building. People will buy into your vision more than they'll buy into your success.
Yeah.
You've already, if I sit here and tell everybody how much money I make through this, they're like, I could never do that.
Right.
But if I talk about the vision of what we're creating and where we're going, they want to be part of that.
And also where you were at. Like I think sometimes I get stuck and I come from nothing, so sometimes I forget to share that and I talk about the now, and people they can't relate because they're like, well, of course she's lucky she's dating Mike or whatever, like all these things. I'm like, no, I work my butt off, but
Start with Michael.
Should I delete that? No.
Please.
Babe, I hope you're on.
Probably.
So mine is before Prove It, I was living paycheck to paycheck and unable to financially afford to pay for challenges for my own health. Since starting with Prove It, I have experienced what it's like not to stress over money again and be completely debt free. What I'm most excited about for the future is being able to show support. Why am I getting teary? Support for my babies Jen and Sky to show them what it's like to help other people. Jeez. It's why you want me here by myself. Work hard and build a life by design, and also help other moms like me to achieve the same thing through what I'm to achieve the same thing through this business.
Awesome.
So, whoa.
My encouragement to you, because we have to end, is spend a little bit of time sometime this afternoon just writing down your before stories from the business before. And part of the business story could be the community. Part of the business story can be this environment that you can be part of. Spend time writing that down and just practice articulating it, practice sharing it. But I don't want you to practice it so much that it's just completely not from the heart, right?
I like what he said right there. I don't know if this is here a little loud, but sometimes it might seem people are like, well, I haven't made it yet, like financially, so they don't know how to share it. But like, this is more than just money. Like, it's always been more than money to me. It's about empowering and encouraging other people what's truly possible. And if it's the community, like we just talked about, or even just being around somebody that now is your best friend because you know, come at the same time. Right, same time, what's the saying? In the same place at the same, whatever, right time. Right time.
Place at the right place.
It's just talk about those things, whether it's community, you know, the product, all the things that are congruent with your message. It doesn't have to be financial right away. And that's what I feel like people get stuck with sometimes.
If you cast the vision, if you speak about why you're excited about this and why you're doing this, people will relate to that and they'll say, I want to join you. If you don't tell anybody why you're doing this, but like if it's quitting your job, the why that we talked about earlier this week, as you share that with people, that will inspire them to do something.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Would you say it's harder now being in, as long as you are, with what he's made financially, the success you've had, is it less relatable?
Oh, it's way less relatable.
Yeah. They struggle harder when you.
I can't tell people those stories. They don't ever believe it's possible.
Yeah.
I can tell them my beginning story.
Yeah.
I can tell them Keisha's story or other people's stories.
So when you're new, it's so powerful because it's more relatable than somebody that's already been doing this for 5 years. So just remember that.
We change.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to do a hard stop right here. We'll be back in 3 minutes with the next one. So once we clock out of here, check out, close this, whatever, and then we'll see you on the next one.
Go to your next place.